Kit Guru is with Thermaltake. Yes, they've got cases, but they've also got a huge number of sims, mainly driving sims. But Rosie, come down here to the flight sim, which we saw at CES, and we glance along the row of driving sims, which we also saw at CES. And at the end, we have the GR700, which is much like those other GR500s, except it has this kind of bonnet at the front, just to shroud in the front. So it's much the same, except it's got a bit of extra metalwork. If we go around the side of the booth, we see a whole bunch of Thermaltake components. So you require the frame, you obviously require the controlling PC, and then you require pedals and a steering wheel and the motor. This setup in the basic version is about £800 euros dollars, but you can go more up market. So about 800 for the basic frame, about 800 for the basic package, plus obviously PC and screens, and then you're up and running for 3,000 bucks, possibly, maybe 4. However, if we go to the other side of the booth and we get to the GR900, and now we're spending money. Now, sadly, the guy's not driving at the minute, but you can see the 4 rams, full actuation, and that takes the cost up to about £5,000 euros dollars. But that is not a patch on this full motion setup. Sadly, no one driving it at the moment, but you can see the enormous rams, the huge amount of travel, and the height of the screens. They're at least a meter off the ground. This thing is absolutely monster. No price given. I'd be shocked if it's less than 10,000 euros for the basic hardware. I'll be putting a figure somewhere closer to 20. It's going to be a lot. And we move along and we continue to see more and more sims. Yes, they got Thermaltake hardware driving them, but the fact is sims is clearly a market Thermaltake is taking amazingly seriously. But now let's move on to PC cases. The View 290 TG ARGB in snow, which pretty much says what you need to know. It's a variant on a theme, and you can see it has a radius on the glass. Next to the snow version, we have the regular black version. And then next to that, the View 370 TG with an angle on the glass rather than the radius. Also an accessory screen. Now, the screens we used to see used to be a slit like yay, or like yay more accurately. Stupid aspect ratio. The images were tiny and they cost about 80 bucks. These much larger LCDs cost about 100 bucks. So there's still the price of a budget case, but at least it's a practical accessory. We go past the 370 TG to the 370 TG in black, and we move on to various Thermaltake colors. View 600 TG in Future Dusk, a color we saw at CES. It's the color of the year, don't you know? Butter Caramel, called that because it's a combination of yellow, and inside the motherboard tray is a different color, as is the shroud, puts his finger in the frame right there. So it's 2 colors, as is this mint strawberry. I called this watermelon at CES. They've obviously changed the name. Again with the accessory screens. And then next to that we have a View TG600 in white. And look on the AIO pump cover. Look at the Minecraft screens. Remember those? We'll be coming back to that. Believe it. AIOs various. So this is the classic Thermaltake. They're 360s, they're 240s, they have all sorts of features. We have here a curved LCD on the pump cover. It's pogo pins. I've seen them not work after someone took one off, so I'm not touching it. And we have ARGB fans with lighting in the edge and also in the periphery, not in the hub. Then we come along to cheaper versions, TH240, TH360, V3s, lighting in the hubs of the fans, and a flat display on the pump body. Next to that, TH240S, very similar. You can see there we have output of the temperatures and such like. Obviously these systems aren't, well, they're not connected to systems. It's just kind of a static display of lots of zeros. TH240 V3s, when you look into the Infinity display, you can see something slightly more interesting. Granted, it's a TT logo, but you've got a bit of depth to it. You come around the corner, past the sole display of fittings for custom loops. And here a PC built with those fittings, and that's the end of the custom loop hardware. And we turn around, and behold, the MineCube 360 Ultra ARGB. MineCube, what's that? I've no idea about the inspiration for this whatsoever. So I can lift this off safely because it's controlled by the cables. So you'll note it's still working. It's just kind of positioned on top of the active cooler on top of the pump. I plonk it back and we have an ARGB 360 AIO with the extra lighting doohickey. Cost of the whole about $350, which means that this 4-display setup is going to cost you about $200, and naturally that is controlled by Thermaltake software. On the left we have it in white, here we have it in black. Loads more fans. I like Project Edge in white. You'll note behind it we have Project Edge in black. Yep, they've got displays on the edges of the fans. No idea on the pricing. Apparently it has patent protection. Patent pending, patent granted, patent protection. Don't know what that means. Tough fan. You'll note they've secured each of the fans there, and then these are magnetically attached. And it works. Not broken. Very nice. Seen these before, like them a lot. Tough fan connection is clever. Available in 120 and 140mm. ARGB in the periphery, but also here the ring lighting. Very neat. As ever, Thermaltake has a load of builds on show. This is a View 380 XL by Tim Parker. Very nice. We go to the left and we have a build from the Philippines, TR100 Snow. He's cheated, however. He's taken this tiny case and he's put hardware outside it. I understand why, but he should have used a bigger case. The Tower 600 is quite a large case. That looks really smart, although points deducted, I think we can all agree, not acceptable. Nice look though. View 380 XL, also from the Philippines, looking smart. And then this used to be a TR100 in hydrangea blue, and now it's a hippopotamus or something. Still, it looks happy. That's the main thing. And then we move on to the big guns in the world of modding. This Black Myth Wukong system is based on a Tower 600. I hate to think how much work went into this because, let's face it, there's not a lot of Thermaltake remaining. Deadly impressive, but somewhat over the top for me. However, Matt thinks it's absolutely mind-blowing. Personally, I rather like this Tower 600 by Justin Chu. So it's a Tower 600 on top of a plinth, and the plinth accommodates the 360 cooler, as you can see by the fans down below. You go all the way down there, you see them? Through those slits. That's very neat. Next to that, another Tower 600, which has basically been cut to pieces. So what you've ended up with is the Tower 600 base and the Tower 600 top. And between the two of them, no Tower 600 whatsoever. This TR100 from the Philippines I like a great deal. This is deadly smart, really neat, ultra compact. Very, very nice. And finally, we have another Tower 600. This one, as you'd guess, from Japan by a chap whose name I'm not going to butcher. Looks very neat. The idea there's a case in there is slightly bizarre. It's a house with a PC inside, but it is very neat. So I think we should go back to my favoured TR100 Mini Tower because I like this. This should have won. Well done, Mike Sampson. This is Kit Guru signing off with Thermaltake at Computex 2025. We're on TikTok, and you can check us out at kitguru.net.